grand scheme of things to be able to charge this, because it wasn't within the parameters of the time frame of the occurrence of the domestic situation.
To be able to bring her in?
Yes, we always had her in custody, well, not custody, she was in investigative detention. But at this time, to solidify our investigation, we felt, the district attorney felt, that the charges on the prior domestic would have been something that we could use at that time.
And wait for
the investigation to break.
How long were they back living together? Were they back living together within this week period in violation of that protection order?
My understanding is he invited her back into the home. What I saw, now I was at the scene, and I did not see any a presence of a female living there. So I would hasten to say, but I would think that they were just boyfriend and girlfriend again for a short period of time, not cohabitating.
What's her medical status at this point? We understand she had a medical issue during question.
She has diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and her ketones were out of whack on 2 different occasions during the interview. So we had to provide her with medical attention, which resulted in hospitalization. So that's why the investigation probably took a longer turn, and we came up with inside the parameters of this investigation tools that we could use to make this an easier thing for us.
We had heard that she was arraigned by bedside from her hospital bed. Is that true? During the course of the investigation for the previous
yes,
incident in August?
That is correct.
But she's back in the correctional facility now?
That's correct.
Got it. So not in the hospital and not with
No, she's in the Delaware County Correctional Facility.
Got it. How many times, I guess, how long had they been together, leading up to now? And
maybe Chief Smite could probably fill in, because I know he took an active role in this also.
It's been, my information, it's probably been a year, maybe a little bit more. It's been a very hostile environment over that time, in which my officer filed the complaint for the terroristic threats. He also filed a PFA. I believe that from what I've learned over the last 3 days, he was talking to a number of officers in the police department. Everybody was advising him that he needed to make a decision to leave. People were asking me a question like, how's she back? How's she back? Well, my opinion is that I believe that she was using his position as a police officer as a wedge. I'm going to report to your chief that such and such happened, which was getting her back into the house. Now is that a fact? No. From what I've listened and heard from my officers, I believe that absolutely be a part of it. And again, there's things that we can't speak of at this point, but there were things that were said in interviews that lead me even more to believe that. So if a PFA is filed against him and that comes down and we have it, now we have to remove the officer's weapons. Now the officer can't run the street. So I think there's more to why she was back into the house. I agree with Chief McDevitt when I went into the house. I really didn't see that any female, looked like any female was actually living there. She was there. She was accepting mail there. None of that had changed. But she had left and she had just recently come back. There were only 2 people in the house, and from Saturday night until this moment, there's only 2 people in the house, and absolutely, positively, you cannot self-inflict a wound from 3.5 to 4 feet away, and that was where he was shot, from 3.5 to 4 feet away. So only 2 people in the house.
Chief, we know you've been spending some time with Officer Hudson's mother and family. Can you tell us just how the family is holding up, especially with these new...
I just left Mrs. Hudson 10 minutes ago, and his mom is, she's a couple things. She's extremely angry that this happened because she can't understand why it happened. She has been through 3 days of what I would explain as hell for that poor woman. She is glad that at this point that this warrant is going to be issued in the next several hours, hopefully, and she's going to be arrested. She's trying to get closure. Actually, at one point said that she thought she might want to talk to this girl to find out why this happened to her son. She's a very kind, caring person, and she's lost her 26-year-old, her shining star, and our shining star. And, it's a very sad thing. She has a lot of tough days to go over between now and Saturday. She wants to just stay to herself, and that's why she's not talking to me. I actually invited her to come today. She doesn't want to do that. She just wants to bury her son.
Did you mention a funeral Saturday?
The funeral will be Saturday. We're actually, when we leave here, we're going to pick up Mrs. Hudson. We'll take her to the funeral home. The arrangements will be posted tonight, but as of right now, it's tentatively. The church is in Collindale, the cemetery, everything's very local, the cemetery in Collindale. Police department and the Aiken Fire Department will be involved. There's been a tremendous outpouring from the community as well as other police departments. I understand there's going to be a vigil tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. The neighbors of the street. I'm sure that the media that have been out there doing these stories, you talk to the people that know them, people on the street. This guy was an exceptional person. He was born to be a police officer. The day he was born, it was in his blood. He had a natural reaction for it. He had a natural connection with people, no matter who you were. Right? And he was a very kind, caring person. And when you sit down and you spend time with his mom, who myself and my lieutenant spent 3 days with, you can see where he got it from. He was nurtured to be that kind of a person. It's a tragedy that this guy's life was taken in such a needless manner. And I think that when it's all over and done, I'm trying to hold my composure. But he was murdered. It's that simple, and I absolutely believe it, and I believed it from the first day. And when the facts come out, it might even be closer to an assassination than a murder.
It sounds like you're hinting, and correct me if I'm wrong, that he may have been ending this relationship. Is that the feeling you get? Is that something that you can...
That's, yes, I believe that is what was happening, and I believe that she was threatening his job. I'll go to your chief.
So he had filed a PFA against her in January, and then also a criminal complaint for the August incident?
Correct.
But no charges brought in until yesterday, really?
I don't know what happened with the August thing, other than it was still active. Why he didn't do that, I don't know, but I do know that after the August incident, he did come in and talk to his lieutenant. They discussed it. He filed it. Why did that not happen? I can't speak about that, but obviously she went back, she talked to him, and again, I still believe, and it's only my opinion, that he was being coerced.
So he had dropped the complaint against her?
No, he didn't drop it. He
Okay.
just didn't do anything about it.
Okay. Would the ball have been in his court to do something more about it, or?
Well, more likely, yeah. If he's saying, well, listen, anything, like, is there a 30-day cooling off period? Should he have took the next step? Sure. Monday morning quarterback. But we don't know what pressure was on my officer. Right? Here's a guy that loved to be a fireman and loved to be a cop. And if somebody's going to take that from you, or you think they are, right? Sometimes you just don't make clear-headed decisions, and I absolutely believe
What would she have against him, though?
Real simple, you know, listen, I'm gonna go say, and now, I'm guessing here, I'm just giving you my opinion, this is a fact, right? Right, so you beat me up and I'm gonna go to your chief and I'm gonna put a PFA against you. If she goes out, signs an emergency PFA, I get a call, I gotta take the guy off the street, I gotta take his weapons.
So you're saying you think she lied to,
Absolutely, I think she was lying, positively.
what's the August incident? I'm sorry, I'm late, chief. What was the August incident?
It was an incident in Darby Township where he was called to the house.
I can fill you in on that. It's a domestic call that we received at the house. It's the same house that the incident the other day occurred in. And she, in the presence of my officer, made a threat that she was going to kill him. Upon our arrival, she did have a knife in her hand. So there was plausible means for us to arrest, although there was no physical signs of abuse. But once again, as Chief Smythe said, his officer was trying to do things, I believe, diplomatically, and didn't pressure the investigation so much that he brought it to a conclusion. And that would be the case. I think he wanted to do it diplomatically, was my
Do
understanding.
you know what specifically prompted the January PFA?
After talking to his chief, and he decided that it was time to remove her from the home.
Chief Smythe, you mentioned the word assassination. Is there something that you can comment on at this point in the investigation that would lead you to believe that this was cold-blooded, premeditated setup?
I'm not going to answer that question. I probably should have kept my opinion to myself, but I think that when this goes to court, if people are in court and they hear the testimony, then maybe people will agree with that explanation that I gave.
Excuse me, if I may, I just want to say one more thing. This, in Delaware County, and especially in the southeastern quadrant of Delaware County, the police departments here work well within each other, and we're a very close law enforcement family. We rely on Darby Borough and Chief Smythe and his officers all the time for backup, as well as they do with us. So it was very important for us to try to help to bring some closure to Chief Smythe, because I know in myself that if I had the tables turned on me, that Chief Smythe would have stopped at nothing to help me. So I know that that's the way that things work out here. And I don't know how he's still keeping his composure here, but it's been a really hard 3 days for him. And, I couldn't imagine if I was in his shoes, but I know if I was, he'd be there for me.
Hey, Chief, I couldn't hear really well when you were first coming in the room and you were talking about what was going to be happening with Ms. Finch today. You said you're serving a warrant for her. Is she going to go before a judge today?
What's going to happen is that I believe the Darby Township officer is going to pick up the warrant, pick up the complaint, sort of take it to Township's municipal judge. He'll then seal the complaint and there will be a warrant. And at that point, the warrant will be served on her at the George Hill Correctional Facility, and then she'll be arraigned on the first and third degree murder and related offenses.
And where does she get arraigned at?
She's under $250,000 bail. The first degree is a non-bailable offense.
So you got the warrant for murder charges.
We don't have any warrant yet. Well, it may be by now, but as I was walking in the door, it wasn't sealed yet. So until it's sealed, it's not a warrant, it's a complaint. But it's been approved by the district attorney's office.
Murder charges. Murder charges.
Yes, they've been approved. And it's a paperwork thing now.
I got you.
Are you friends, anybody else in here who wants to speak?
There's no family here. It's,
Okay.
This is Police Commissioner Richard Womack from Darby Township. This is Councilman Flaxen from Darby Borough. So our organizations, our elected officials are behind us in everything we're doing here today. So
this is Janice Davis, who's president of Darby Borough Council, and that's our mayor, Helen Pond.
Great. Would you guys like to say anything, or?